So we're going to try to find the amount of pressure on this desk covered by this book. So the first thing we need to do is think about um, what we need. And the first thing we need is the area. So I'm going to find the area, but I'm going to find the area first by changing these into meters. So I'm going to change this to 0.2 meters, and I'm going to change this to 0.1 meters, because remember there's 100 centimeters in a meter, or 2 decimal places is what we move it. So when I go to find my area, it's the length times the width, because this is the type of thing we learned a long time ago, right? We're going back to our old math we learned when we were in elementary school. So 0.2 times 0.1, and that will give us our area. And this is going to give me the area in meters squared. So it'll be quite a small number, because a meter squared is really big, and this is not covering a lot of that. So I kept but 0.02 as my answer, right? So I end up with that as my area. So 0 meters squared, right? Because it's meters and meters. Now I can find my pressure. My pressure is straightforward. It's the force divided by the area, because it's the amount of force over a certain area. And they gave me the force, but well, they gave me the mass. What kind of force is acting on this book? Well, I know it's the force of gravity. Gravity is pulling down on the book. That's what's causing the uh, book to put pressure on the desk, is gravity. Without gravity, it would be floating and there would be no pressure. So I'm going to take 4.5 and multiply it by our magic gravitational number of 9.8. Yes, if you've been in this course in for a while, you'll realize, yes, we are backtracking. This unit does review a little of the stuff from previous units. We can't forget that stuff. That stuff was taught to you for a reason, because it is universal. Gravity is one of those things that is used in a lot of different disciplines, because let's face it, it affects everything on Earth. So physicists have to use it. So now I know my force. This is really straightforward, because I know my force caused is because of gravity. I'm going to divide by my area, and this will give me my pressure. So mathematically, this was not a hard question, you'll notice, but it did require you to think a little. It required you to think a little about the uh, source of the force, which of course you're going to have to do. You're going to have to think about what's causing the force, why is there a force, and you have to remember those area equations we learned a long time ago. So I get a really big number, but remember this would be in meters squared. So this is how much force if that book was over a meter squared. It's not. So this is the amount of force, or newtons per meter squared, is what we'd end up finding. And that can go in my therefore sentence.